Hello everybody, this is Toys-R-Us, and for this new figure unboxing and review we're going to be looking at the DX9 Mini 01 Vasili figure. So with this video we're going to have a look at him in all three of his modes because he is a triple changer. We'll have a look at the entire lot of accessories that comes in the packaging and how we can use them all. We're going to do some comparisons and see how he looks with other figures in the Legends toy lines. Now again, correct me if I'm wrong with this in the comments guys, but I believe that the DX9 is something to do with, or at least a part of, the Magic Square company's figures, because they do look very alike. But we're going to see how he looks and compares with other third-party Legend scale figures. We will of course do some comparisons. This is going to be interesting to see if he's even going to fit on screen with the original, I suppose. Yeah, just about, if I push him back there. Obviously it's based on a double dealer figure, and I've got the latest generations version here as well, so we can sort of see A, how much smaller he is, and B, I suppose how good he is compared to them, because obviously this is the original one. These two are both relatively new. This is the newest, and we want to see the articulation in them all. So as I start to pop these away, I'd like to remind anybody who's not subscribed to the channel, if you'd like to hit that subscribe button for me now please, and also to thank Shozy, because that's where this figure came from. Right, now before we get started, as I've said, I'm pretty sure it's something to do with Magic Square, although they're saying it's DX9 Mini, and this looks like it's going to be their first figure. So on the back we've just got some black and white line there, and then unfortunately for me we've got some instructions which you just scan the QR code there. So I'm going to do my best to see if I can do a transformation process video for you. He does come packaged in robot mode with the two accessories here in the side. Now, because this is obviously based on, because it's a double dealer, so I can refer them to as Powermasters and not Godmasters, he does in fact come with two of these. So I'm going to do some more comparisons later on. This part of the video is just some first impressions. Now, the reason why I've took this one out is because for the first impressions and for doing the articulation, this hinders. If you've got the little Powermaster inside here, which is of course where he should be, you can't really do any waist rotation whatsoever. So just for now, I'm going to take it out and we're going to have a quick look at him. So we've got a pretty nice head sculpt. To be fair, it is pretty basic when you look at it up close. And as I say, it does really feel, and the legs do scare me because they do look a lot like the Magic Square figures. The head itself, though, will go all the way around. You can see it's on a mushroom peg, so it'll look up and down. The arms will go all the way up to the side. These are quite stiff, to be honest. They're going to go all the way around as well. You've got a swivel under the bicep. You've got a bicep swivel. You've got a wrist swivel. You've got a waist slight rotation, but it does get hindered by this backpack. But it gets even more hindered with the Powermaster in. You do have, yes, you've got an ab crunch. That's not the hips moving, so you do have a bit of an ab crunch there. The hips will go all the way to the front, kick out. Don't think they'll go to the side. No, they don't look or appear to go to the side. You can see there's a swivel at the knee, there is a knee bend, and you can tell there's an ankle tilt and rock with all what's going on there. So there's loads of bits that are going on there. Now this is something I found out having a play around. I'm sure it's not supposed to be where you store them, but if you wanted to keep both of the Powermasters on him in robot mode, obviously you could have him in the correct position, but you could put the equivalent of Knock or Scar on the side there as well. And to be honest, they fit there pretty good. They get covered up and you won't even know that they're there. I've also had a bit of a play around and I've worked out that you can use this and you can pop this. I think I managed to get it. Where did I where I can't remember how to look at it. Onto, because it is supposed to just attach on top of there like so, and pretty much, as I say, replicate. That'll go onto there, and of course it will join together. But I'm sure I managed to have a look at putting it on the side. I'll have a look at that in a second. This is just a first impressions part of the video. We're going to look at the other two modes, come back and do the main comparisons. I just want to show you as well that you can see all the wheels are on individual pins, which looks good. The colour scheme is pretty good, to be honest, and he does hold together quite well. He is really robust. I think that's all I need to say about first impressions. We're going to have a look at each other individual alternate mode and then come back for the comparisons and display ideas as well. So there you go, that's him, first impressions in his robot mode. Okay then, so here's your first alternate mode, and this is of course the missile carrier, and to be honest it's not too bad. It's pretty good. it's surprisingly small. I suppose that's a really obvious thing to say with it being a sort of legend scale class figure, but as I pointed out in the other section, obviously the wheels are all individual pins, and look at that, that rolls really well. Now it obviously looks super basic without any of the accessories, and I suppose that's the main problem with the Generation 1 version. If you've got no accessories, it's not the greatest. So we can take the two accessories like this will slot together in there like so. Make sure that this is folded up, and indeed this was the handle that was in his palm in the robot mode. You need to tuck that up and out of the way, and you need to look at that slot there, and then this is going to fit over here. As I say, I am in the process of doing a transformation process video. This one isn't too bad for what I believe to be something to do with Magic Square anyway. So there is the, I suppose, mode, the air missile carrier. You can sort of lift it up and down. You haven't got much range of motion. The only negative, and again, please correct me if I'm wrong, I can't find anywhere to put these guys at all. Just there's no sort of space. Obviously in the original there would be, in fact I'm telling a fib, there could at least be one obviously attached. Oh no, they can't, because they've moved. I'm not telling a fib at all. They can't really go there because obviously we've moved it. It's completely different to how it originally looked. So we've got these teeny little knock and scar figures, but there's nothing that you can really do with them. Now I haven't changed my double dealer into the missile carrier from G1, but I would just want to give you an idea, as I say, of how sort of small it is. That is the 1/2 of the missile from the missile carrier, which you can see is as big as the entirety of it. So I was a bit surprised, to be fair, at just how small it is. It does look good though. There's a Generation 1 boss figure, which it's much smaller than. What have we got here? I've got some New Age Bumblebee and Cliffjumper figures, so they're tiny. I suppose they scale pretty well with it. I've got a Mechanic Studios Sandstorm, which is ridiculous. He looks so much bigger than it. I wouldn't have expected that at all, to be honest. And although it's not an alternate mode, and this is again still a legend scale figure, that is your legend scale version of Sludge. I nearly got his name mixed up then. So as you can see, it really is a very small figure. This is probably the most basic of the modes though, so there's not much more to say about it. We're going to come back. It's going to be in the, whatever you want to call it, Bird, Falcon, not too sure. I'm going to find out the exact name for what the alternate mode is anyway, and we're going to come back and have a look at him in that. So here is the other alternate mode. I'm not exactly sure what it is. I'm just going to call it a beast mode, to be honest. And this, as I think the same with all of the other versions of this particular figure, official and of course non-official, is the weakest. And I think this one really struggles, to be honest. It's too square, it's too bulky, and I think the head's out of proportion with it, in honesty. The head is absolutely tiny, although there's a nice bit of detail on it. There's obviously no articulation in the beak. You can lift the head up and down, not too far, otherwise that'll lift up. It's not too detrimental if it does. It's just covering the robot head. The wings, as you can see, you've got lots of point of articulation on them. I like the way they've added, I suppose, this little bit at the back just to give you that little bit more of a wingspan, but otherwise for me this mode just isn't really working, and perhaps being a little bit too harsh, I don't know. The other thing that I don't like, and again this is probably where I am being too pedantic, is there's no place at all really to put any of these. And I mean, these are really small. Look, this, I mean, you don't want to be losing these at all. There's an Earthrise Micromaster. It's not even as big as one of the arms, so I suppose you're gonna have to keep these in the box because there's no real place to put them, apart from I suppose the bits on the side, which I did in robot mode. So perhaps we can do it again here, but it would just look, at least in the robot mode, they were covered up, whereas obviously with these you're going to see them straight away. However, I suppose if you do want to see them and know where they are, now you see that it's a pain in the bum. There's also as well, and I've checked a few things online, there doesn't seem to be any way at all of attaching this. In fact, there's no official or any images that I found online of this being able to attach anywhere. However, what I've managed to do is have a good old play around with it, and this is, you're not supposed to do it, as I say, it's not in the instructions, it's not anywhere else, but there is a bit of a groove there. If you are, please correct me in the comments, but I can't find it anywhere, and it doesn't look like it's supposed to, because it's really awkward. It doesn't go straight, and as I say, I've watched Mang Motion. I think his videos are amazing, and he's done the transformation process on his YouTube for this. I think it's the one via the QR code there, and it's, you know, he's fantastic as it is, but he definitely doesn't show this missile launcher on this particular mode. So it's not too bad. It's, as I say, it's probably the weaker of the modes. I'm much preferring the robot mode, but obviously I want to show you all of them with regards, I suppose, to scale of this. I might as well keep a few of the smaller figures out. So WST, Red Alert, Earthrise, Micromaster, G1 Bumblebee, there we go. There's a deluxe. There goes a core class Snarl. I might as well bring him in. There's your deluxe Prowl animated, of course, universe. He's not in his robot mode, but I'll keep him in this mode again, just to give you an idea, I suppose, of how small this figure is, because that is a core class Dinobot, which isn't the largest of particular figures. But you can see he is very big compared to him. Two last quick size scale ideas. Core class Bumblebee from Dark of the Moon, New Age B, and Cliff Jumper. There you go. That's enough of all these. It's losing focus. That's all there is to say about this particular mode. We're going to come back for some final thoughts and, of course, some proper comparisons with the other double dealer figures back in his robot mode. Okay, then, back for the final time. He's back in his robot mode, and this is where, again, I've got to sort of confess that, and I know I sound like a broken record with these figures, but the transformation processes on these just drive me insane. It shouldn't take anywhere near as long as it does to do them, and the unfortunate thing, as I say, there isn't any actual instructions. I mentioned in the previous section that Mang Motion does a great job. He just goes from one to the next, but then that's it. So once you've gone from robot to your Falcon, to your missile carrier, to your Falcon, that's it. So there's no way, realistically, you're left on your own trying to take it back, and it's just crazy difficult, and in honesty, it takes me too long. I don't know if it is just me, maybe I'm being overly pedantic, but for me, it should be fun, and it's not fun. It's more annoying. But anyway, he's back in robot mode, which I would imagine most people are going to be displaying him in and keeping him in anyway. I mean, you've just got to look at the back of the legs and see all that sort of stuff, that you can tell that it's not going to be fun transforming him. And I think Pete put the word on the nail on the head, to be fair, with the blast off transformation, that it is more like a fold out former or something like that. Anyway, let's pop, in fact, funnily enough, before we carry on, this would be, I think it would be Knock, wouldn't it? Yeah, there's Knock, and there's an original Knock, again, just to give you a bit of an idea of the size of this particular figure. I'm going to pop him in there because he does look better there, as I say, although it does massively restrict the range of motion and what you can do with his articulation. Scar, as I said, I've managed to stick on the side, but again, it's just a little bit annoying that there is no official place to put him. I'm going to fold this back out again because, of course, that's going to be held in his hand, and this is going to rest on top of there. So again, it's just my opinion, and I am doing at least some of the transformation process videos, but they just take too long. It's not fun. That's what I'm going to pretty much say on it. There he is there, funnily enough, again, just for some more size ideas, as promised. That's the Siege. I think no, that is the Siege Scar, funnily enough. Let's bring in some other figures again, just to give you an idea, I suppose, of how small all these are. There's Dr. Wu, and of course, I think it's Countdown from Omega Supreme. So tiny figures. There is Core Class Optimus Prime, and what we need to do now is bring in the ones, I suppose, that you really do want to see. This is the Earthrise double dealer. Oh, he's fallen over and something's come out. So, you know, he's just over the waist of that. It's really difficult to try and get him in. that's better to give you an idea of the size of him. It's obviously it all depends on what you collect. If you collect legend scales, he's going to fit in your legend scales, but looking at it now, it's really apparent that he's completely out of proportion. Look how long his legs are compared to his torso, and the original ones weren't as bad as that, I don't think. Obviously, it's a massive improvement articulation-wise on this, but I think this one's got a better, not just because it's bigger, I think it's got a better presence on the shelf, but that's probably due to the decals and stuff like that. One thing I do want to very quickly show you, and I wouldn't be surprised if we do see one of these pretty soon, because the one thing that third-party companies like to do is exactly the same as everyone else. They like to reuse a mould over and over, and for those of you who are unaware, that is Double Clouder from Masterforce. And as you can see, they've already Takara already beat them to a new deco of this particular figure, so I expect to see one of them very, very soon. Right, with regards, I suppose, to some other figures, again, just quickly to give you an idea, what have we got here? G1 Prime, G1 Bumblebee, and then let's just do some official figures then. Core Grimlock, Deluxe Frankentron. So you can see again they're in between core and deluxe figures. It's such a shame because it's really weird, because it's taken me about a week to do the review on this, and usually I can get them done in a day, in a few hours or so, but it really has taken me that long to negotiate the transformation processes, to get it back into shape. I nearly didn't finish the rest of the video off at all because I just couldn't get him back into his robot mode properly. It took me far too long, and as I say, for me, unfortunately, just killed the last bit of fun that I had with this. But as I say, it's aimed at, you know, adults realistically, and I think most people who collect these figures, correct me if I'm wrong guys in the comments, you just put them on display anyway, you don't really play with them. So for me, it serves its purpose. It does have 3 modes. He's got super long legs, and he will display pretty well with the rest, I suppose, of, I haven't brought these in, have I? These are the ones that you want to see. There you go, that's Magic Square, that's New Age. Sorry, nearly forgot this. Yeah, just too difficult for me, in all honesty, but good attempt. Maybe they'll improve, maybe another company will take it on and improve it, or it won't be as many folding out parts and panels and stuff, because some of it's clever, the rest of it's just tedious, which I've come to become very accustomed to with these Magic Square figures, even though this is DX9 in the past anyway. But I'm not going to say any more on him. Please let me know what you think of him in the comments. I want you to know, I want you to tell me if I'm being too harsh or if I'm just useless at transforming. Anyway, let me know guys. Take care.